Xbox Game Pass has such an awesome library of different games, but today I wanted to dive into single player games specifically. There is such an expansive list available for us to discover, but I've included 20 of the best ones you can play as of right now in April 2025. These range from a variety of different genres, and I didn't want to include the regular sort of Halo and Gears of War, and instead give you plenty of hidden gems. Now, with that out of the way, my name is Fletcher, this is Xbox Nation. Subscribe for more Xbox content every single day, and let's dive right into these incredible single player experiences. First up, we have a very new addition to the Xbox Game Pass library, and it's so far the highest rated game of 2025, and that is none other than Blueprints. The premise of this game is that the house you are exploring has 45 rooms, but rumours point to a hidden 46th room, and your job is to essentially find it. The catch here though is that every door you choose gives you a selection of 3 potential new rooms, and once chosen, the map shifts in very different ways. This isn't just a walking sim, it's actually more part strategy, part puzzle, and looks to really bend your mind in so many ways that you aren't expecting. This constant reshuffling also means that no two playthroughs are ever going to be the same here, and you'll definitely need to think a few steps ahead. There is a reason why so many consider this a Game of the Year contender, and I can highly see why after diving into this one myself. So if you enjoy mystery games with a very unique structure and evolving gameplay, Blueprints is one to dive right into. Obsidian have been finding their stride on Xbox this generation. From the excellent Pentiment to the huge co-op success of Grounded, every one of their game hits the must-play status. Avowed is no different, and it was phenomenal playing this new action RPG when it finally hit Xbox Game Pass back in February. This one though took us to the fantasy world of Eora and is set within the Pillars of Eternity universe. You will have everything you want here from an open world RPG, from rock solid combat, a great story and characters, along with the choices and dialogue options which do shape the overarching narrative and how NPCs view you. I know some may still be a little bit mixed on Avowed, as it does look similar to Skyrim, but is totally different in its scope and how it plays. This was such a great game though from Obsidian, and you can dive into it right now with your Xbox Game Pass Ultimate and PC subscription. Keeping in the same vein with Xbox first-party titles, you can't go wrong with diving into the dark and unique world of South of Midnight. I reviewed this title, and I have to say, it's easily one of my favourite platformers on Xbox to this day. If you're unfamiliar with this game, you take control of a weaver known as Hazel, as she has to locate her mother, and in doing so helps repair bonds and bottle up different stories and emotions from different characters you meet along the way. The best aspect of this game though has to be the music, along with that very unique and beautifully looking stop motion aesthetic. The build-up of the music when going towards a pivotal plot moment or an upcoming boss encounter puts goosebumps over my body every single time, and the team over at Compulsion did wonders with this newest entry. I heavily recommend it anyway for the story alone, and if you're keen to hear my review, I've left a link in the description below. Assassin's Creed Valhalla is one of a handful of Assassin's Creed games available on Xbox Game Pass, but I specifically wanted to highlight this entry as I just love that Viking era, and the story in this one was pretty good in my own personal opinion. Valhalla throws you into the world of Eivor, a Viking warrior carving out a new home in England. It's a massive open world RPG that blends stealth, brutal combat, and deep storytelling, all set in a gorgeous world filled with tons of activities. Anything from raiding villages, building your settlement, and taking part in huge battles makes this feel more than just an Assassin's Creed game. It's essentially just a full Viking experience. Some Assassin's Creed fans did lament that sort of shift away from traditional Assassin's Creed games, but if you love open world games, you will absolutely adore Valhalla. There is easily over 100 hours of content in the base game alone, so you have plenty of things to do in this gorgeous take on Great Britain. Now, we have seen multiple Borderlands games come in and out of Game Pass over the past 5 years, but Borderlands 3 is the newest drop into the service, and I highly recommend this single player experience as the loot and weapons in this game are some of the best in the series. The Ultimate Edition is actually part of Game Pass and actually packs in a ton of guns and is a mayhem-fueled adventure featuring the base game plus all 4 campaign add-ons, director's cut content, and all cosmetic packs. You will be able to of course blast your way through different worlds and enemies as one of 4 Vault Hunters, each with their own unique abilities, deep skill trees, and also customization. You can play this one of course in solo, or you can join in with friends to take on insane enemies, score loads of loot, and save your home from the most ruthless cult leaders in the galaxy. The story in this one was personally my worst of the entire series, but the gameplay really brings it to the forefront for being some of the best we've ever seen in the Borderlands series. Atomfall garnered a very good reputation at launch and was a great alternative game brought to us by the same minds behind the Sniper Elite series. That's right, Rebellion brought us a very unique first-person RPG set in a nuclear wasteland of England, and put it simply, it was a welcome change and is so unique with its structure and its storytelling. Diving a bit deeper on this aspect, there's no hand-holding or very little here. The story is dependent on finding notes, journals, audio recordings and so much more, or just coming across someone or something within the environment. It really promotes exploration and planning and does it so incredibly well, which is a welcome change to the genre. There are also 6 endings to this game, which is absolutely wild, and it's so highly recommended to try each of them out as they do vary up the plot and what happens. If you want a different take on this sort of survival RPG genre with some solid gunplay and the beautiful English countryside, then Titanfall is a game that you need to try on Xbox Game Pass. Keeping in the realm of post-apocalyptic wastelands, I think it would be a mistake not to include Stalker 2 Heart of Chernobyl on this list today. Now, I know this one is pretty mixed amongst players as the difficulty of this experience is very high and really does demand every bit of strategy just to overcome some pretty simple combat encounters. Set in the infamous exclusion zone, the game will throw you into a radioactive wasteland filled with mutants, rogue factions, and supernatural anomalies. Your choices in this game really do matter though, as there's multiple endings for you to discover that do change depending on your interactions with different NPCs and different factions. The game's AI though this time around was powered by what they call the A-Life 2.0 system, meaning the enemies and creatures that we interact with dynamically react to each other and react to your presence in real time. If you love games that truly challenge your survival instincts with a great story, then this is the one for you. See, I absolutely love Senua's Saga Hellblade 2 when it dropped onto Xbox Game Pass last year, and to me, Ninja Theory is one of the best studios, especially for storytelling underneath the Xbox umbrella. Of course, this one follows the one and only Senua as she struggles with trauma and mental illness in a world steeped in Norse mythology. The game really builds though on the groundbreaking elements of the original entry, with even more immersive visuals, sound design and storytelling. The gameplay here though combines visceral combat with puzzle solving and exploration, all woven seamlessly into the story, and it's just done so well. The environments here are very vast and hauntingly beautiful, from storm-lashed coastlines to eerie otherworldly realms, and is easily one of the best looking games available on Xbox Game Pass. Hellblade 2 really is a deeply emotional experience that pushes the boundaries of what video games can really achieve, and it will stay with you long after the short runtime. Mafia Definitive Edition sticks out for so many on Xbox Game Pass and took us back to the awesome but gritty underworld of 1930s America. This really is a full-scale reimagining of the beloved classic, and it's such a great ride, not only story-wise, but also in its gameplay. In this one though, you will assume the role of Tommy Angelo, an everyday taxi driver whose life takes a very sharp turn when he's pulled into the orbit of the Solari crime syndicate. This isn't just a visual upgrade though, it's a bold reconstruction, weaving in modern gameplay and a very rich narrative. The game dives deeper into the emotional and psychological toll of living on both sides of the law. Tommy's journey though from bystander to key player in a ruthless empire is told through so many gripping missions that feel lifted straight from a vintage mob drama. Beyond the main story though, there's optional missions and hidden gems that really do reward you, especially if you dig deeper into this dark, fascinating world. It really is a standout on Xbox Game Pass, and it's one that I highly recommend. Personally, Citizen Sleeper 2 is one game I've still yet to finish in its entirety, but for the time being I've put this into this list as it's like no other game, and that's why I cannot recommend it enough for you on Xbox Game Pass. The original Citizen Sleeper was limited to a space station, but Citizen Sleeper 2 takes place in a much larger game world, which is actually based on an asteroid belt. After the initial onboarding, you're free to visit its various locations and pick up major and minor missions here and there. This non-linearity in storytelling feels utterly great. You can get involved in coups, trade deals, a manhunt, an advertising campaign, a three-way standoff over a corporate asset, and at some point a smartly written love story quietly unfolds in the background. It feels like we're a small part of a greater living world here, but a small part able to make choices, overcome hardship, turn the tables, and make some friends along the way. This has all the precarious warmth of the original game, but with the added chaos of being constantly on the run from a maniac and your own degradation. It's one that I highly recommend on Xbox Game Pass and really is a hidden indie gem. Control Ultimate Edition is easily in my top 10 story games on Xbox Game Pass, and I cannot wait to see what Remedy has in store with FBC Firebreak, which is also coming later this year. If you're unfamiliar with this game though, you take control of a protagonist called Jessie Fadden as she heads into what's known as the Oldest House. A corruptive presence has invaded the Federal Bureau of Control, and you're essentially the only one to have the power to stop it. The gameplay generally consists of a variety of different guns mixed with telekinetic abilities that grow more powerful as the game progresses. The world really is a big standout as well though, as the oldest house looks gorgeous and the juttering structures along with the outlandish design makes it just so incredibly unique. Remedy really knows how to make immersive, narrative, deep worlds, story and characters, and Control really is the epitome of an incredible single-player experience. Dead Cells is one of those games that has been stuck with me since its launch, and I know many still dismiss this game due to its artistic style. In essence though, if you took the brutality of Dark Souls, the speed of a Metroidvania, and also the roguelike randomness of Hades, then drenched it all in pixel art gore, you'd essentially get Dead Cells. In this one, you play as a reanimated pile of cells, possessing a headless corpse, waking up in a constantly shifting, ever-changing dungeon of death. There's no hand-holding here, and there's no easy way out. It's just fast, fluid combat where every mistake can and will get you killed. Don't worry though, dying is just part of the fun of this game. The combat is insanely satisfying, every weapon feels different as well, whether that's slashing through enemies with twin blades, firing explosive crossbows, or just setting everything on fire with firebrands. It's challenging, addictive, and brutally fun, and it really is the kind of game where you tell yourself just one more run, and suddenly it's 3 AM. Few first-person shooters out there can actually match the emotional depth and inventive gameplay of Titanfall 2. This one still remains one of the most acclaimed first-person shooters thanks to its groundbreaking campaign and innovative mechanics. The story though centers on Jack Cooper, a militia rifleman who unexpectedly becomes a pilot of a Titan named BT-7274. Together, they must prevent an interstellar catastrophe, forging a bond that becomes the emotional core of the entire game. The level design though really is exceptional, with each mission introducing new gameplay mechanics that keep the experience fresh, and I still love diving into this one to this day. That seamless sort of integration between pilot agility and timed combat offers such a unique sense of freedom and player choice. Its campaign though is very short but such an impactful experience, making it a must-play for fans of both shooters and well-crafted narrative adventure games. Every once in a while, a true gem of a game comes along and absolutely reinvigorates my love for the medium. Eternal Strands was another fairly new addition to the Xbox Game Pass library for 2025, and it really did garner a lot of great attention, and this was a fantastic first game from the Yellow Brick Studios. This new add-on sees the combination of multiple different systems to create such a dynamic world. There's everything from temperature, physics, climbing large monsters, crafting, recrafting, side quests, upgrades, and just all sorts of stuff jammed into one title with a surprisingly cohesive result. Additionally, I found the writing in this one to be exceptionally noteworthy, including multiple nuanced and mature characters around a decently engaging plot. Subjects are also brought up with tact, and the characters interact like adults with depth and actual background to their motives and decisions. With such a strong first game, I'm eagerly anticipating what Yellow Brick Games does next, but I highly recommend you try this one out on Xbox Game Pass. I think it's quite safe to say that one of the best Xbox first-party IPs that's been released so far this generation was Indiana Jones and the Great Circle. If you somehow haven't tried this game yet, you're really doing yourself a disservice, as the world, the combat, the story, and everything in between was so expertly crafted by Machine Games. This one really does Indy a lot of justice, and throws you into different areas out of the world as you're searching for a lost artifact, and of course it goes incredibly sideways. From climbing around different environments and completing puzzles, to shooting handguns and using your trusty whip, the game really pulls you in from start to finish and will stay with you long after. There is a reason why so many love it, and I would still recommend you dive into this one even if you're not the biggest indie fan, as you'll be blown away by the set pieces and the narrative design. The Mass Effect Legendary Edition has been on Xbox Game Pass via EA Play for quite some while now, but it's still one, or if not the best trilogy available on the service to this day. This one really is a tour de force, and is one of the most influential and game-changing RPG series of all time. In Mass Effect, you take on the role of Commander Shepard, and you'll be tasked with navigating this strange new galaxy. On your journey, you'll be discovering new friends, enemies, and ancient secrets that could actually spell the doom of civilization. The Mass Effect trilogy is rightly famous for its branching storylines, and as Shepard, you'll be asked to make choices that directly affect the narrative. To this day though, Mass Effect Legendary Edition is a story full of brilliance and a high recommendation for any Xbox gamer. The Legendary Edition also brings some lovely improvements with it, like 4K, 120 FPS, and so much more, and it's well worth diving into if you've never tried this one before. Hi-Fi Rush is a rhythm action game that combines vibrant visuals, high energy combat, and a killer soundtrack. In this one, you play as Chai, a wannabe rock star who gains the ability to synchronize his movements with the beat of the music after a corporate experiment goes awry. The result is a game that feels like playing through a concert. The combat system rewards timing and rhythm, with attacks, dodges, and special moves all syncing to that beat. As you progress though, you'll be unlocking new abilities and team up with different colourful allies who bring their own unique skills to the battles. The story is very light-hearted but surprisingly heartfelt, tackling themes of creativity, individuality, and resistance against corporate greed. Beyond combat though, Hi-Fi Rush offers platforming challenges and exploration, with secrets hidden throughout its vibrant comic book style world. The game's infectious energy and charm make it such a standout title that's as fun to watch as it is to play. Returning to Doom Eternal after a few years is like stepping back into a perfectly oiled machine of chaos and precision. Even now, it remains one of the most exhilarating first-person shooters ever made, with its breakneck pace, intense combat, and fluid movement system still holding up against modern titles. From the moment you load into the game, the adrenaline really kicks in. The combat loop is as satisfying as ever, balancing health, armor, and ammo through aggressive gameplay that feels like second nature, really rewarding those who master these mechanics. I really do love how the world here is just so immersive. There's gigantic titans in the background that don't notice you at all, and you can look off destroyed buildings into the hellscape where the massive mechanical bastions, the last of humanity's efforts, lie desiccated. With Doom the Dark Ages coming out next month, I have no doubt that this newest entry will make it onto an updated list, but for now, I highly recommend Doom Eternal to everyone on Xbox Game Pass. In the midst of the hype surrounding Starfield back in 2023, Sea of Stars was heavily underlooked. If you like your RPGs old school but with all the trimmings of a modern title, Sea of Stars is an absolute must-play on Xbox Game Pass. While on the surface, this indie RPG is clearly indebted to classics like Final Fantasy VII, there's plenty of fourth wall breaking and the kind of creative game design one would expect for a more recent RPG. What Sea of Stars does that sets it apart though is carrying forward a meticulously high level world building throughout its entire runtime. Every NPC, every locale, and every note from the soundtrack fits the overall vibe of this world. Combat is also deceptively simple in Sea of Stars, at first presenting you with your standard turn-based fare, before evolving into something more kinetic and rhythm-based. This really is a love letter to the past, but is one that can be enjoyed by many modern gamers, and Sea of Stars is easily one of the best single-player experiences they can pick up and play right now on Xbox Game Pass. The first A Plague Tale game, Innocence, was something of a sleeper hit, a breakout success from Asobo Studios. Against expectations though, Innocence delivered a gripping, emotionally rich narrative wrapped in a unique blend of stealth, horror, and historical fiction. Asobo made the smart decision with A Plague Tale Requiem to essentially double down on what made the original so special. The scope may feel larger in terms of visuals and gameplay systems, especially with expanded rat controlling mechanics and more diverse environments. At its core though is a powerful bond between young Hugo and his fiercely protective sister Amicia, whose emotional arc continues to drive the narrative forward. Visually though, Requiem is absolutely breathtaking. It showcases richly detailed medieval towns, sun-drenched countrysides, and eerie plague-ravaged landscapes that won't look too out of place in a big-budget blockbuster. It's a testament to Asobo's technical and artistic ambition, proving that emotional storytelling and stunning presentation aren't exclusive to massive AAA studios. So, what is your favourite single-player game on Xbox Game Pass, and did I miss any of this list? Let me know in the comments below. Remember to like this video if you enjoyed or found it helpful, and subscribe for more Xbox content every single day, as over 70% of you have not joined this fastest growing Xbox channel here on YouTube. Whilst here though, why don't you check out the other list I made on screen now. I covered the 20 best Game Pass games you can play right now in April 2025, and there are some absolute worldies on this list.